Or in other words, I could say you could be from any stream. You just have to be a graduate with passing marks. You don't have to be a topper of 99%. You don't have to be an eminent, distinguished scholar. You don't have to have so many accolades or prizes. You don't have to have a good general knowledge. You don't need to know what is the capital of Argentina or what was the name of Hitler's mother. You don't need to do that. You can be from any stream. You could be from medical line. I have taught MBBS doctors as well. I have taught chartered accountants as well. I have taught so many different, I have taught lawyers. I have taught so many other people. I have even taught people from the IT sector who become an engineer. Who's engineer? Any engineers in the house? Okay, there are no engineers in the house. You're all from the arts background. People from the arts background. Humanities. Okay, thank you. So yes, you could be from any stream. Stream obviously remains irrelevant, guys. Stream has no relevance here. Yes, there used to be a time when your stream mattered. There used to be a time when Sir Armstrong cleared his exam 15 years ago. So there used to be 2 optional exams. And that is when you could have been specialized in political science or in physics, or you could be a specialist in public administration. That would surely help you in your civil services. But today the civil services has become very generic. It has become very general. There is an ethics paper introduced in civil services, GS4, as a part of your mains answer writing. I'll tell you, I'll go through that. In that ethics paper, you all have to write journal things. That what is the act of kindness which you committed in the past week? You would have just helped an old man fill up his application form in the State Bank of India. You could just have helped your household domestic maid with an advanced salary, or you could just have paid her children's education. You could have committed just that act of compassion. And this is what common sense is needed in the civil services today. So people of any stream can pursue this dream of civil services. When should you start preparing? Guys, I think you should start preparing right now. Whatever stage of your career you are, it's never too late and it's never too early. People have started preparing for the civil services right after their 12th. 12th ke baad hi they've started, self-analyzing them. They've started reading a good quality newspaper. Just as John sir said, they've started going through the current affairs. They've started going through the current developments which are there in the country and the world. What is happening between India and America, India and Russia? Why is Russia targeting Ukraine? What is the crisis there in our Manipur? What is the internal security crisis with respect to Naxalism in the red districts of India? Why is rupee declining so much? And all those things. You need to have that just generic knowledge, just general awareness about the current events of India and the world. And here you are. So you could start attaining that knowledge right from where you are. If you are in school, you could go for a junior newspaper or a junior edition of Times of India or Hindu. And if you are in your college first year, second year or third year, you could start reading with the Indian Express or the Hindu. Yes, you could do it. What is the pattern of the exam? Very simple. The first stage of this exam is Kaun Banega Karodpati. That is the talk show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. There would be a question. It would have 4 options, A, B, C and D, and there is no lifeline here. Koi lifeline nahi hai. You will be awarded negative marks for your wrong answer. MCQs. What all do you have to study? I'm sure you must have all studied history, polity, economy, civics, science and technology, all these generic subjects right from your class 6th to your class 12th. You all might have studied about Harappa Mohenjo-daro or the Indian national movement. You all might have studied about Mahatma Gandhi or Rani Gaidariu. You all might have studied about all those freedom fighters. And this is what UPSC wants you. It wants you to study the subjects from class 6 to class 12, nothing more. It checks a little bit of comprehending skills. Comprehending skill means that how fast can you comprehend something. In this case, you just have to comprehend a paragraph. There would be a paragraph written and you have to comprehend that what is the crux of that paragraph. So you need to have good reading skills in order to become an IAS officer today. Relevance of newspaper could be a topic for this seminar for some other day. Yes, newspapers are very, very relevant, not just for an IAS officer. Even if you wish to even if you wish to pursue a career in animation or the IT or designing or gaming, you need to be aware of the new nuances. You need to pursue a career in policy making, research or economics or any field today. Today every field is changing. Just as Sir said that 15 years ago we did not have a mobile. Your general studies paper 1, 2, 3, 4 as per the new pattern and your optional. Earlier, a decade ago, there were 2 optional papers. You could choose 2 subjects of your choice. Today, there is only 1 optional paper. You could choose any one subject of your choice and pursue your goal in that subject. Yes, there are some subjects which do help you in essay. There are some subjects which do help you in GS 1, 2, 3, 4. Those subjects are also very, very important for you. The next comes is the personality test. Personality test, yes, it is an interview. You will be seated with 5 stalwarts, 5 eminent people. Their general knowledge, their wisdom, their experience would be light years ahead of you. And they will be asking you, they will be countering you with so and so issues, the issues which you would encounter as an IAS officer. They would put you in real life situations that what would you have done had you been at this point. So all those things become a part of your personality. We always say that UPSC is not a test of persons, it is a test of personalities. The way you think, your ideas, the way you express would all be judged in present day UPSC. Preparation strategy for any exam. This is not just for the UPSC exam, this could be your any exam. This could also be your graduation exams. The preparation strategy to any exam is that you first need to know that what is the syllabus, what could you be asked in that particular exam. The second is create a structured plan. When you have a comprehensive syllabus in your hand, you need to plan that how would you, in those short spans of time, how would you cover that syllabus, what would be the resources, where would you study that particular thing from. The third thing is the time management and the targets. Yes, you should have realistic targets. You are not a superhuman being that you could read a book within 7 days. You need to have those strategic plan of reading a particular book which has 1,000 pages. It would take you 3 to 4 months to comprehend that particular thing. So prioritize your key subjects and topic. In any exam, be it SSC, be it UPSC, be it CUET, there are always some key areas from where the questions are being asked, from where the maximum amount of questions would be asked, and those would be the value for many things. So you need to identify and prioritize those areas. Then practice PYQs and mocks. This will help you in coming to know that what you would expect in the future papers. If you do not know, history is the present politics, you could say, and history repeats itself. So yes, you could definitely come to know about the exam from the history, from the historical perspective, that what all you could expect in the next upcoming year. Stay informed about the new developments. That's again very, very important, that you need to be aware of what actually is happening, what are the new things which are happening in this exam, in this area of your domain. You could be pursuing a career in animation, in IT, as an engineer, as a civil engineer, as a doctor. You definitely need to know what are the new developments happening, right? Then final stage, after anyone becomes an IAS officer, what do you get after you become an IAS officer? Anyone? Yeah. Anyone preparing for the government exams here? How many of you are preparing for the government exams? Yes. Yeah, lambe haath. I need to see some big hands. So you're all pursuing a career, you're trying to pursue a career in government exams. So have you ever thought what would you get after clearing this exam? Anyone? Yeah, you would get money, you would get paisa, you would get prestige, you would get all those things. What if I give you this option? After clearing your government exams, what you get is, yes, Chapna Mereya. Yes, you will have a lot of opportunities in this field as well. The other is the graduate level. One of the exams you would appear right after your 12th, and the other exam you would appear right after your graduation. The scale is different, the pay scale is different, the syllabus is almost the same, the level of the exam is also different. Yeah, for the person who has passed his 12th, he'll have a lower level of exam. The person who has become a graduate, he'll have a higher level of preparation. So eligibility criteria, you could have passed +2 or you should have a bachelor's degree. The age limit also depends upon the post which you are applying for. This is also about the government exams. UPSC you could say is an umbrella exam, and this exam is a lower level exam. You would not become an IAS officer, but yes, these are clerical level and inspector level exams. Nothing wrong in them as well. Nationality, you must be a citizen of India. The exam pattern and syllabus, both of them are very overlapping, and they are very overlapping with UPSC as well. It is all about general awareness, your awareness in history, polity, economy, science and technology, a little bit of current affairs and all that. It also contains some mathematical portions, some aptitude portions of logical reasoning, some current affairs, some grammar, quantitative aptitude also it contains, and it contains some English also. So English is also important for these papers. It is almost overlapping. The only difference is that the arithmetic in CHSL would be of a lower level, I would say 10th class level, and the arithmetic R's in the SSC would be of a higher level. Preparation strategy again, guys, remains the same. It is very much similar to the UPSC. You have to identify the syllabus, you have to identify the key areas, prioritize your time, prioritize your study, and then you're on for it. The process, it has multiple choice questions in the first tier, then the second tier is the descriptive paper, the third tier is the skill or the typing test, and the fourth tier is the document verification for this exam. Same CGL also has multiple choice questions. It has a tier 2 as well, in which there would be a computer based exam for similar type of questions. The tier 3 has a descriptive paper in certain posts. Otherwise, for a few posts, you may directly graduate onto the interviews. And interviews is also not for every post under SSC. It is only prescribed for some of the posts of Staff Selection Commission, for some of the posts, not every post. This is all about UPSC and SSC, guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed delivering it to you. Thank you so much.
About the process of give and take, right? If I know someone, if I'm talking to you, I'm sure, like Mr. John said, you are providing or you're giving some ideas or thoughts to that individual. And similarly, that individual is interested to have you or to give you that opportunity in their company where those same ideas or those same thoughts could be implemented, right? So try to get an internship, which is very essential these days, very important, right? These days, as somebody was mentioning, I think, again, I would quote Mr. John here. He gave an idea as to the number of unemployed youth these days in our country or around the world, right? Now, it is not because they are not talented or they are not qualified, right? Some of these things which Mr. John had mentioned, and then some of the other speakers who came up and shared their story as to how they went about pursuing their career in those specific fields, gives you an idea as to what you need to do, right? In Indian market itself, right, if you look at, let's forget about the tier 2, tier 3 colleges, right? Colleges like IIT, I think last year around 43% of them were not placed anywhere. So it's not about smaller colleges. This is happening to bigger colleges or bigger universities and names also, where a big number of students are not being placed or not getting the kind of job they are looking for or they want in their life. So these are important things which can teach you. Like I said, one is internship. The second most important thing is part-time job. There is no job small or bad, right? Some of you might be already doing it. Some of you might be, working in the hotel industry. Some of you might be working with fashion houses. for 3 to 4 hours on a daily basis, which definitely helps you cover your costs, cover your, pocket money to buy certain things. Like Mr. John said, if you are interested in shoes, you can buy those shoes, you can invest in those shoes. But more than that, what happens is when you start working during this phase of your life, you start learning quite a lot of things. You practice your communication skills, you practice your negotiation skills, right? You develop the interpersonal skills which requires on a day-to-day basis in corporate world. So these small jobs which you are doing will help you in a longer duration. When you are talking about yourself, or when you're talking about your product, when you are trying to sell something, when you are building trust among those buyers, is going to give you that skill set which you require on a day-to-day basis. And this goes by far by saying not just in the corporate world, but also when you become an IAS or an IPS officer, right? So there is no small or big job. Try to get a job, but if you can, and if you want to get something out of the job, you can also try looking at the fields of interest which you are in, and if that can come your way during your college days, there's nothing better than that, right? So that's the second point from my side, which I think it is important. Third is join a club, right? ZSUD is one such club. I think it's giving you an opportunity today to listen to such prestigious speakers over here, and then the members who are arranging these sessions, for all of us to understand and learn from each other. Now, there are a lot of such clubs which you can start with in your college days. It could be a sports club, it could be a political club. They always gives you an opportunity to connect. Again, I'll come to that point. Mr. John said, the connection which you build will always take you way forward than if you try all by yourself, all alone. End of the day, you have to remember, we as a human being are not a lone warrior. We have to always be associated with people. We have to be always surrounded with people. And these are the people, these are the connections which will help you grow in your day-to-day career, or in your hobbies, or in your pursuit of happiness, or whatever it could be, right, which you're trying to achieve. But it is very important how these days you create your resume, right? How much more you can put in a less number of words. There are different professional services available in the market which you can go after, no doubt. But there are free services as well in the market. You can Google it up. You can see some of the best resumes which were built in the recent days. Go look for those resumes, see what you can do to your current qualities which you have, or the expertise you want to showcase. Do not forget to mention your part-time jobs or your internships which you are doing. If you have done, or if you're part of, do not forget to mention that in your resume, but in a more beautiful and creative and attractive way, right? So these are some of the things which I believe, 4 or 5 things which can not just help you get a job in corporate world, but also to understand where do you stand in your life, in terms of what is that you want to pursue. It is, again, I will quote back again, you might not know, you might just know that 20% of what is that you want to do in your life is something which you would know when you just pass out of your college. And once you join the corporate world, it might give you a more clarity as to where do you want to end, or where do you want to take your career graph to, right? When I was talking to, again, I will quote Mr. John, when I was talking to him, he said that as he mentioned, right, he studied economics, but he came from a recent, background of regulatory and compliance, which I'm just getting into now. So when my introduction was given as a head of regulatory and compliance, it's been just a 2 weeks I moved into this new role, I was doing completely different from regulatory and compliance. I was going after these capital market instrument which we call bonds in the market, in the international market. I used to read through 50 to 100 pages of documents to see what these bonds are about. When somebody is investing in these bonds, what is that they would want to know? So from that now to regulatory and compliance, and prior to that I was doing ratings, which was again completely different from adding bonds or understanding bonds. So my journey is a classic example of these 5 things.
Your study and research. So choosing as an academician or academics as a career is also somehow considered as a noble and rewarding by the society, by our community today. And then you are also entering into a part of research, teaching, publishing, collaborating, networking. Everywhere there that you can explore, because this comes every year and then you can apply them. Commonwealth Scholarship for UK, Destination Australia Program for Australia, Venier Canada, Graduate Scholarship for Canada, and then Haineube Newme Foundation Scholarship for Germany, AAUW International Women's Fellowship, which is for USA and particularly for women, Fulbright Nehru Doctoral Research Fellowship, which is one of the prominent fellowship for USA. So these are the scholarships that you can explore and gain admission abroad for your further studies. So these are the brief things that I would like to highlight to all of you.
Here's the Rongmei traditional necklace. I like this one. Look at the painting.